Okay guys, so we're going today to talk about the shoulder in. So the shoulder fore is where there's just slight placement of the shoulders to the inside. The shoulder in is actually where the inside hind leg and the outside foreleg are on the same track. So there's three tracks. There's a track for the outside hind, a track for the outside fore and the inside hind on the same track, and then a different track for the inside fore. And this really increases engagement of the inside leg. And you can use this exercise, we're going to demonstrate it down the long side, but you can use it on the circle just as you can use the leg yield on the circle. And you want to be able to engage the horse's inside leg, and you're going to want to then capture that energy on the outside rein. Now, a lot of people start to teach their horse the shoulder in, and there's a couple errors that they do. One, they'll have the neck over bent, which actually keeps this shoulder bulged out, and we don't want that. The other thing that they do is they either have too much angle, so it would be like 4 tracks like that, and that is now a leg yield. That's not a shoulder in. Or they have the neck bent, but they actually don't have a shoulder in. Okay, so we're still on 2 tracks here, and we need to be on 3 tracks. A lot of people also, because they learn to teach their horse coming out of a circle to do the shoulder in, that they have this tendency to stop the shoulders moving and push the haunches out. So let me show you what I mean by that. They come around this turn and they stop the shoulders here, and then they push the haunches out, and now they're in shoulder in, okay? That's not it either. So a lot of people learn that way as they sort of, you know, they come through the corner and they think about, well, if I was to keep turning this turn, what would I do? And they bring the shoulders in and push the haunches out. And that is not correct. What you actually want to do, let me give myself a little bit more space here. So as you come around the turn, you're actually going to come down the track. You're going to come onto the track, and then you're going to half halt on the outside rein and bring the shoulders in. So you're not pushing the shoulders out, the haunches out, you're actually bringing the shoulders in. And you're doing that from a balance between your outside aids and your inside aids, because you're asking the shoulders to come to the inside off of a half halt off the outside rein as your inside leg engages the inside hind to step up underneath of the center of gravity more. So let's talk a little bit about the body positioning of the person, because this is slightly different. We still are staying upright in our body, but our shoulders are going to do a little bit of what the horse's shoulders are doing. So if this is me straight on, this is me shoulder in, and it's like that's exactly what I want the horse's shoulders to do, right? Is there, okay? So I have just a slight, my shoulders are no longer just going straight down long side, but they are in shoulder fore also, okay? Think about it that way. My seat is no longer just completely 2 seat bones going straight forward. I have to tell the horse that I want the rib cage to bend a little bit more. How do we get this offset of the shoulders? How do we get the shoulders to come in? Is because we're actually asking the rib cage to bend more. So this is more bend that we're asking for. And the way that I do that is that my outside leg is just going to be ever so slightly back, because I'm not putting it way far back. I'm keeping my thigh here to help catch this outside shoulder. I have my lower leg just ever so slightly back to kind of keep the haunches from swinging out, because that's not what I want. I want the horse to step under with the inside hind. I don't want it to swing its haunches out. My inside seat bone, I've talked about this before, is if I'm sitting on a clock face, I actually want my inside seat bone to kind of go toward 1 o'clock. It's going to be a little bit in and forward for the shoulder in. So I want to say, hey, I want you to bend and then I want the inside hind to come forward. If I just put my seat bone down in them, I'm actually blocking that inside hind from stepping up under my seat bone. I want to allow that inside hind to step up underneath my seat bone. So that's why my seat bone is a little bit toward that 1 o'clock position, saying, hey, come on inside hind, step underneath this positioning that I've created for you, okay? And of course, everything is going to stay stacked up on one top of each other. We don't want to be collapsing in either one of the places, in any place, forward, back, side to side. And of course, as the horse, if he struggles with this activity, that's usually when people start contorting themselves to try and help them out. And if that's the case, then you need to come back to the walk and just work on the horse's positioning so they understand what it is that you're asking them to do. So I feel like that shoulder in is easier at the trot, but we're going to demonstrate it in the walk. So I'm going to come out of the turn. I want to have a nice turn here. And I'm going to then ask for the shoulders to displace in. And I'm this balance between this inside seat bone and my outside rein. So it's a balance between my inside seat bone and my outside rein. And it's asking for a little bit of engagement with that right hind, 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 okay? So we'll do, it's a little easier, I feel, in the trot. The lateral work is great to teach in the walk because it gives the horse the time to understand it. But for me, actually riding it, there's too many body parts that can start moving around in the walk, and it's easier for me to channel in the trot. I'm gonna do a little circle here. I wanna make sure I have my inside bend, that I have my horse on my gaits, right? That I can come through the corner and I can activate that inside hind leg. And then I'm going to say, shoulders in, half held on the outside rein, inside hind, 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 inside hind. And the way that I regulate how much bend I have is by how much my inside leg activates the inside hind to step underneath my seat bone, and how much I half hot on the outside rein to get the shoulders to come to the inside. It's a very good exercise to do shoulder in at the trot on the circle. And you gotta then really manage that outside hind that is escaping out, that the shoulders are actually coming in, but that the outside hind is not escaping. I'm not asking for the haunches. This would be asking for the haunches to go out. It's not what I'm doing. I actually have to channel those haunches, but also ask for the shoulders to be slightly in on the circle. Okay, that's a really engaging exercise. So you have to be careful that when you're trying to do this, you're not swinging the haunches out. You're actually managing the outside of the horse's body. Okay, let's show you what this looks like in the canter. So we just have a kind of easy canter going here. Don't lean down, bud. I'm going to come through the turn. I'm going to displace the shoulders to the inside. I'm going to manage that outside of his body, and it's just a little shoulder fore. I didn't talk about this in the other videos because it would be taking me too close to the camera. When you're finishing your shoulder fore, you can finish your shoulder fore about here, and then you're going to turn, but you're not going to want to have the haunches swing out around the turn, okay? Just because you're in shoulder fore position does not mean that the haunches swing out around the turn. So that is the shoulder fore, and it's very, very important for center lines to have that control. It's very important as you start collection, as you start doing more things with your horses, to have that control, because the shoulder in is the next step up, and it really helps you control both the shoulder and the haunches, but it really helps increase engagement. And that's why you start doing that at like first level, and it really starts to become really a solid thing second and third level.